Qualification CHC 52015, Diploma of Community Services. Unit CHCDEV002, Analyze Impacts of Sociological Factors on Clients in Community Work and Services. Lesson 1.2, Identify ways in which major institutions in Australia society can impact clients as individuals and as part of community and family groups. Presented by Donovan Nufable MHS, FDRP, BA. Identifies ways in which major institutions in Australian society can impact clients as individuals and as part of community and family groups. In this lesson, I will discuss with the class the effects and consequences of inequalities to our families. For example, poverty as the core issue in lower socioeconomic society and its domino effect. I will also discuss our roles as service workers in health and community services and our role in community development. For example, advocacy and advocating in behalf of our clients to ameliorate their social status. Australian institution, political government institution, religious and church institution, education school institution, labor work institution, culture art institution, health institution, mental health institution, and physical health institution, economic and banking institution, child, youth, and family aging institution, media and social media. These are some of the institutions that governs our society. When I say govern, it doesn't mean that they're actually rulers. What it means is that they have a lot of influence in the way our society is run. So political and government institution is probably one of the more influential institution in our society, because the politics provides us a way to run the country, whether it's a democratic, socialist, communist, or even open market, like the way we have here in Australia. It's a social democracy with capitalist society. Society can be divided into three sectors: the non-government organization, or the NGO, the public sector, and the private sector. So the public sector is anything that is run by the government or funded fully by the government. So this is the public sector. For example, Centrelink, the tax office, the Department of Education, these are all public sector. On the private sector, these are businesses that provide services and food for us. For example, Coles, Woolies, they're all private sectors. They provide food, and for, some of them is also entertainment, like cinemas and sports. These are all private sectors. The NGO are the sectors that we mostly work in as a public, as community services. So these are organizations such as Mission Australia, or Wesley United, or Salvos. These are the organizations that are providing services that is partly funded by the government and partly funded by private sectors through donations and philanthropy. Public sector include the federal government, the state government, local government, laws, legislations and acts, court system, justice system, criminal system, and school system. All of these provides public sector. Public sector just means it is owned by the public meaning us. And a lot of the public sector is funded through taxation, personal tax, and some business tax. So the taxes that is received by the government is spent on public sector. So these could mean a lot of different things. So there is the federal, which is the military, the military, and there's also the state, could be the state police, and the local could be the council. So these are all part of the public sector, and they provide services to us as citizens of the country. And when I say citizen, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be an Australian citizen. It just means people that are living in the country. So even international citizens can be provided public sector, and that is the beauty of democracy, where we are provided services by the public, by the government. The private sector, probably one of the biggest sector in our society, includes the businesses, the banking, the entertainment, media and social media, housing, jewelry and wealth, food and drink, arts and sciences, drugs and pharmaceutical, hospitals and insurance. These private sectors provides jobs for us to do, and the jobs obviously pays us money so that we can pay for our houses, for the cars, and for all other expenses that we might incur as part of the people living in society. The private sectors is important in providing jobs and also security. However, public sectors can also have a negative effect in our society when the private sector is all about profit. When the private sector becomes all about profit, and then everyone else is sacrificed, including the health of the people working in the private sector. We know people that are working long hours, especially when they start to get into management role. So these are the kind of things that we know. In hospitals, for example, and there are people working long hours, 12-hour shifts, and even back-to-back shifts. So these are in the private sectors. Having said that, we do have public sectors such as the hospitals. I mentioned hospitals in private sector, but there's also public sectors. But when in terms of public sectors and private sectors, it's all about the creation of job, but created by the business. At these days, media and social media plays a big part in providing private sector jobs. There are people doing influencing jobs. They're not paid anything by anyone in particular, but by endorsing products, they become influencers, and they become people strong influence in social media. Non-government organizations are like charity, United Nations, environment, social work, community services, Doctors Without Borders, philanthropic work, volunteer. These are all non-government organizations. The birth of the non-government organization, or NGO, provides services, free services to people of low socioeconomic background. Given that we are working in health and community services, a lot of our work is provided through funding from the government and through donations by big corporations and philanthropic work by other people. We provide services, free services, to people who are in need of whether case management, counseling, drug and alcohol, and even mental health. Although a lot of these NGOs are funded by government, like the state funded and the federal government, the non-government organization is really working for the people, funded by the private and public sector. So it's like a project that is created to provide for the low socioeconomic background. And given that a lot of our clients are in the low socioeconomic background, there's a lot of work in the sector specifically for ameliorating our clients' life, whether through education, better services, and saving them from civil wars, refugees, and civil unrest. There's a lot of work there, and especially in advocacy. That's the kind of work that we are all in, and we are part of that NGO. We are a non-government organization, or lately it's been called non-profit organization. So whether you call it a non-government organization or non-profit organization, the work is the same. It's about providing service, free service for the low socioeconomic background. Reference Scott J. 2014, Oxford Dictionary of Sociology, Oxford, UK, Oxford University Press, TGA, retrieved 2020, qualification, and also the unit. Thank you.